Uda, Uda, Uda. You are now rocking with Uda Block Live. You already know here on Uda Block, everybody is welcome. Once again, here on Uda Block, everybody's welcome to be a part of the block. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you put the notification bells on so you're notified when we drop new content. Uda. Cook up, cook up, cook up. Live again, you already know the vibe. Uda Block Sunday, you already know. Cooking up, you see the title, How to Rap for Beginners. I'm just going to go into a little breakdown. This is for an artist that I met a couple of days ago. A young artist, he's 12 years old, he's from Brooklyn. He's rapping, he's writing music, and he had an array of questions for me. He had a multitude of questions. And one of the questions that he had for me was, how do I know what a bar is? Like, how do I know I'm writing 16 bars? You know, he just writes, you know, and whether it's, he feels it's 16 bars, or sometimes it's close, or sometimes it's off, but he doesn't really know when is 16 bars is up, right? So for me to explain this, I want to explain this to him in a way that he could see it. You know what I mean? So this is why I'm doing it on my platform. So this is for Justin and for young artists like Justin that want to write rap, want to write music, don't know how to go about composing music. Because, you know, writing music and then composing music, arranging different things, sounds, instruments, backgrounds, different things, that's like a whole nother beast. You know what I'm saying? So the best way I could break down what is a bar and what is 16 bars for Justin is, first thing you'd have to know is, what is a metronome, right? A metronome, right? A metronome is a device used by musicians that marks time at a selected rate by giving a regular tick, right? I'm going to read that again. It says, a metronome is a device used by musicians that marks time at a selected rate by giving a regular tick, right? Now, what is that? So I'm going to bring up a metronome so that you can understand what a metronome is and what and how a metronome relates to 16 bars or bar counting or bar timing, and how musicians and beat makers use metronomes, and how metronomes are the basis of melodies, right? So I'll pull up this, right? So this is a metronome, right? So I'll play it right now for you so you can hear how a metronome sounds and what it is, right? So when a beat maker is making a beat, the first thing he's listening to is this thing that I'm about to play, which is a metronome. And it starts from there, and I'll play it so that you can know. And then from there, we'll go from there. So this is a metronome. Every fourth tick is one bar. Again, every fourth tick is one bar. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that 1, 2, 3, 4, right, is going at a tempo. So now you can set the metronome to a certain tempo, right? Whether it be that right there was like a 99, as you can see, it's a 99 tempo, right? That's how many beats per minute it's going. It's going at 99 right now, beats per minute, right? And every fourth tick is a bar, right? So now let me speed up the metronome so you can understand. Like, if I'm a beat maker, let's say I want to make some shit like tonight's gonna be a good time. You know them shit. You know them that record. You know what kind of tempo is that? So the beat maker's going at a different BPM, right? So the BPM is going to go up. And then he starts from here, and then he starts adding his sound. Dun, 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 dun. And then he put in his next thing. Then he put the beat drum pattern in, and everything is timing to this tempo, right? And everything is done in bars, even the creations of the beat, how you layer the snares, the drums, the 808s, everything you do with a beat. It's also measured by these same standards of this metronome, right? So let's go up and look at this. See, this might be a faster beat. See, so this is the metronome. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like on the records, that's why they say that when you going in, like when you about to perform a record, they be like 1, 2, 3, go. You know what I mean? That's why that's your go count. That fourth tick is your go count of when you're gonna go. That's your bar, right? So that's just understanding a little bit about metronomes now, right? So when you understand what a bar is, right, and you understand what metronomes are, right, then you get to understand how you're creating music now. You know what I'm saying? Now you get to understand how you're creating music now. So now some people, now I'm gonna tell you some dope shit. I want you to listen. If you're here, I want you to stay and listen to this, right? So like, now when you understand the metronome, right, we're gonna talk about something dope, right? You know, you go in the studio, right? Most artists go in the studio and go and rap to a beat, right? You go in there, yo, I got my beat, my shit fire, whatever, my shit laid. I'm about to go lay some fire down, right? Boom. An artist like Tupac, he was in the studio, right? He had such of a crazy work ethic that regardless of beats or not, he was recording all the goddamn time, right? And how he would do this is by recording to these metronomes like this. Once again, I just play a metronome. Let me slow down the tempo though real quick for you so you can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Let me, to me against the world. He just in there just rapping like this to a metronome. It's no beat. He's just in there rapping to a metronome, no beat. Just like that, rapping to a metronome, right? So now what that does now, right? So he's really just rapping to a tempo. So you don't really need a beat to go to the studio. I need a fire beat. You got a fire verse and you know how the feeling and the tempo of how it goes. You could go and write it and rap it in the studio perfectly if you know how to really construct music like this, right? Construct the music. Now, any beat that matches that tempo of that metronome, those lyrics and those vocals are going to go perfectly in sync with the lyrics. The beat and the lyrics are going to go perfectly in sync because it's at the same time. It's the timing of it. So Tupac was so great that he was in there. This is how come he had so much music. He had thousands of songs. He was in there just cooking up on metronomes, which is crazy. That's no beat. You in there building the hook, all the layers of the hook. When I do some of these tutorials right here, I'm going to go into some of these things because these are some of the questions that he and a lot of artists ask me, not just young artists, different artists as well. I write different kinds of music and stuff. But, you know, this is so crazy that he wrote thousands of songs and performed thousands of records, Tupac, all on metronomes. So after his death, they pull out a Tupac song. It's on no beat. It's just a cappella, but it's at a timing. It's already timed. Then you get a beat that it matches. This is how they get to put those things after people's dead together like that. They put them together based on tempos. This matched the tempos, sort of like how DJs mix in tracks. You know what I mean? This song kind of goes with this tempo, and then when you blend it, it just goes in perfectly. You feel me? It just goes in perfectly. So like another thing about the metronome, another thing about bar now, right? Another artist that's one of the greatest artists. This is another thing, you know what I'm saying? Twista. You know what I mean? Shout out to Twista and everybody that know Twista. Twista now, he rapped fast, right? He raps so fast that now when you're thinking about bar count, this is a whole nother thing now when we're thinking about bar count, right? Because we're still going at that same 4-tick bar rate and bar count, right? But how many words that he's able to fit in the middle of these 4 ticks is what's crazy. each set of 4 ticks, how many words or syllables that he's able to fit in there is what's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're dealing with word flow now, you know what I'm saying? Because now when you're dealing with bars, then you start dealing with flows. They be like, damn, how I create a flow, how you come up with word flows and stuff like that, how you make words go together in certain ways so perfectly. You know what I mean? Like if you're writing like these fast flows, like these fast flows are a bunch of multi-syllabled words, right? Like let's say I've said something like, we got pits for pets, right? That's 5 single syllable words. We got pits for pets. 5 single syllable words, right? So now I could say now the next, that's 1 bar, right? That'll be 1 bar, right? So now the next bar, I could say another 5 single syllable words, which will match. We got pits for pets. We got clicks for rec or something like that, right? So I could do that again. Or what make it tricky now, or what makes it ill now when you really get into your craft now, is that I could use 5 single syllable words for the first bar, right? Then on the second bar now, I could take a word that has, let's say, 3 syllables or 4. Let's say it's let's say I said we got pits for pets, and then I say it's a misconcept, right? Misconcept is 1 word, but misconcept has 3 syllables. See what I'm saying? So I could fit, let's say I put a 3-syllable word and a 2-syllable word, and a flow is a 5-syllable flow that I'm going on, right? Because we got pits for pets, that's a 5-syllable flow, right? So I'm using this 5-syllable flow, right? And now I'm flipping it. I could use 1 word that has 5 syllables. I could use 1 word that has 4, then use 1 1-syllable word. Then I could use 3 single syllables and then 1 2-syllabled, you know what I mean, word. And then this is what makes the flow even tighter when you're playing with syllables and everything is like matching up. When you got everything matching up like that. So once again, for a bar, when we go into bar counting, when you go into bars, you need to understand what a metronome is. A metronome is a device that's used by musicians that marks time at a selected rate by giving a regular tick, right? And what is that regular tick that we went over just now? That regular tick is this, right? Let me play it again so that you can hear it, right? And how it switches tempos, right? This tick is the flow. This tick is the basis of a beat. And this tick is the basis of a bar. Every 4 ticks, depending on the variations of the tempo, is 1 bar. It's a simple way just to understand it, that I could break it down to an artist that is trying to understand that. So once again, I'm gonna speed up that tempo so that you can hear the tempo speeded up. And how even when a producer creates a beat, he starts it like this. Then he puts the sounds in and goes, dun, 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 dun. Then he stops, and then you hear it playing back. Dun, 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 dun. Then it goes just like that. It goes dun, 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 dun. Then you just hear that just by itself. Dun, 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 dun. Then he puts something else in. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? Then it's just layered. So every single one is going on the same basis at the same rate on the same tempo, just layered on top of each other. So this is a good way to understanding bars, metronomes. When you understand a metronome, you can understand how to record music in a different way. You don't need a beat when you go to the studio. You know what I mean? I can have a tempo like, yo, son, this is like a tempo like this. And then he playing with this tempo. You're like, nah, it's a little faster than that. Then he's switching his tempo for you. And all you in there is hearing this tick. So that tick is guiding you. It's keeping you as a guide of your timing of where you need to be. So you're not just in there, just sporadically freestyling in there. You know what I mean? Just going wherever in some blank space. So the ticks give you a sense of space, a sense of place in the music. So it keeps you grounded. You know what I mean? This is what the metronome does. So he was just Tupac, meaning he. You know what I mean? I just don't want to talk about a person in the wind. He, meaning Tupac. This is what made Tupac another thing, because Tupac was just a great artist, you know. But this is another thing that made Tupac so great, is that he recorded on metronomes. And a lot of new age artists and people don't know about that. People don't understand about what a metronome is, or even how to go about recording a whole full song on a metronome with no beat. And just because when you create music, every artist that creates music, you create melodies. So you basically create beats if you create music. If you knew how to create a beat, you'd be creating beats to every fucking song you made. You'd be creating beats to every single song you made, because every time you come up with a flow, you know, it has a flow to it, a melody to it. So you could already sense what the beat is like, even if it had no beat. So you're really just going off of that when you're in there and just recording on the metronome. You know what I mean? And then I covered that Twista is one of the people that obliterated the metronome. He obliterated the bar count and how many words you can fit in between each bar count. In between each 4 metronome ticks, how many words and word syllables that he can fit in the middle of each bar count is a reason why he's a master at using the metronome and understanding what a bar count is. So hopefully this was helpful to a lot of upcoming artists that's out here right now. You know, I hope that this was most definitely helpful for y'all. I have a couple of more videos that I'm going to do just like this, because like I said, shout out to Justin, a young 12-year-old artist from Brooklyn. Salute to him. You already know we need more artists like young Justin. We most definitely need more artists like young Justin out here. I most definitely push for them to do their music. I try to help as much as I can. I try to help artists as much as I can in any form. You know what I mean? It doesn't take nothing from me. You know what I mean? I know how to write different things, whether they need help on certain things, but I can only be one place at a time. So this is why I try to bring a segment into my live stream, so that some of the young artists like Justin can go about learning how to rap, learning how to make your craft better, learning how to study the craft. You know, if you really do music, then study it. You know, the greats study the greats. So study the greats, study how they flow, study different things about what made them great. You know, different things. This is what's going to make you great. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan, everybody in the world, everybody that was great studied someone that's great. So just because you study under someone that's great doesn't mean that you're less than who you are. That doesn't make you a copycat or something like that. It's just inspiration, you know, because you might take what that person is doing to the whole next level. And that's what we've been doing since the beginning of time, since man's been invented. We've been taking what we've been taught to a next level. So don't ever think that that's a bad thing. Learn from where you got to learn it from. Most definitely subscribe to the channel now if you have not. Like the channel and subscribe to it. Make sure that you turn the notification bells on so you're updated when we drop new content. You already know the vibe. We cooking up. Ooda, ooda.